Hey, welcome to Thoughts from a BTR Refugee. Tonight we're raising money for the Wounded Warrior Project. I've been doing some things behind the scenes, and I've enjoyed it, and since no one had time for me on their shows, so I could do my little promos, I'll just do them here. So that'll be cool. I'm going to tweet some people and see if my autism people might come in and donate to a most worthy cause. Going to have to Facebook them. Some of them may be asleep right now, but hey, who knows? Maybe they'll listen to the podcast and donate a few hundred. You never know. You never know. So, and if you do, if you're from my high school, we graduated together. Thank you. Oh, I just hit my hand. Let's go ahead and start with, gosh, I don't know which one to start with. Oh, if you look in the link to the show, you'll see a link to Shave the Stash. It goes directly to the Wounded Warrior Project. This is part of the J Sands Night Talks Radiothon for the Wounded Warrior Project. I have permission to play these clips from the Wounded Warrior Project, which I pursued last week. Won't we talk about one of the main goals with the Wounded Warrior Project is to give the gift of independence. There's nothing better than being able to call your life your own and not have someone wash you or provide for you. I think it's a great experience to do that. So why don't we go ahead and listen to that, and we're going to talk about the Restore Warriors Project as well. That's within the Wounded Warrior Project, and some ideas that maybe we can do this together. All right, here we go.
My name is Shane Parsons. I'm 27 years old, and I'm from Fostoria, Ohio.
Going to a baseball Indian game. Oh, is that right?
What happened was we just got off of a mission. I'm hauling butt, just rolling, and then bam, just hear a pop. The last thing I remember is being on the ground, and somebody punched me in the chest and said, "Wake up."
He had lost one of his legs, and they had to amputate the other leg to save his life. The amputations were very critical, but that wasn't what his fight was going to be. It was going to be his brain, because with a traumatic brain injury, it is a very, very slow recovery. He has short-term, long-term memory losses. Those are for life. That will never be 100%. But what do? You overcome those barriers. You overcome the obstacles. What I think has really changed our lives, I remember receiving a phone call from Wounded Warrior Project asking if Shane would be interested in getting evaluated for a new program called the Independence Program. And it sounded like a perfect fit for Shane.
The Independence Program looks to provide one individual, we call them a community support worker, to work one-on-one with a warrior on meeting goals that warrior and their family and our case managers have worked to create.
I was brought in with the goal that we would work with Shane and try and get him maybe out in the community, find a job, start working, making some of his own money, start doing things a little more independently.
The traumatic brain injury took away his ability to read and write. The Independence Program staff with Wounded Warrior Project said, you know what, we're going to hire a tutor for Shane to continue his speech. And I couldn't believe that the Wounded Warrior Project was going to foot the bill. And Shane has done so well. He's just advanced. He's reading signs on the street, writing his name, writing numbers, addition, subtraction. It's amazing.
The Wounded Warrior Project was able to find people who are experts at what they do. And then from there, they found somebody who might be an even better fit for the situation.
Wounded Warrior Project called me and asked me to look at Shane. He needed somebody to get him moving. We do a lot of bands, free weights, cable machines. So he's really getting a full body workout. And it was a little struggle at first, but then it's like every day it got better and better. And where he got to the point where he was like kind of looking in the mirror and like, wow, I look great, I feel good. And meant a lot. This project means a lot.
It's like an amazing team effort, the way everything came together.
It's very difficult for me as a mother, and I'm not getting any younger. What will happen to Shane if something happens to me? But I can honestly say, today, after all the experience that we've had with Wounded Warrior Project, I don't worry like I did before.
And the ending credits are rolling. In case you're wondering what you just listened to, that was the Project Independence within the Wounded Warrior Project. They have many different programs for caregivers, the men and women of our great armed forces. Just, there's no other word than thank you. A grateful thank you. I have a number of people in my family that are in the armed forces, Army and Marines mostly. That's the only two. But this is something that is near and dear to my heart. Where I live, we care about our veterans. We truly care for them. We have the third largest Veterans Day parade in the nation. And Tulsa is really not that big. But we have a big heart. And I think you do too. So tonight, if you're listening, I want to talk to you about maybe doing an encore radiothon to extend what Jay Sands has so wonderfully done with Ernie Abbott and Goofy Bone and John Biven. And, maybe I can bring in my own money. Maybe I can. We'll see. I'm sure if I make a few phone calls. That's all that it takes to calling someone that is looking to donate. It is, you're able to write this off on your taxes because it's to the Wounded Warrior Project directly. It doesn't go through Jay Sands. Click on the link in the description. It takes you directly to the Wounded Warrior Project. You can donate. You can itemize that off. I think you can give up to $500 to itemize your taxes. Maybe you can give more and itemize, write it off for $1,000. I'll have to check on that, and I will before Friday. Maybe my friend that has that hedge fund can answer that. I doubt that he will, but I'll see if he will be willing to give, because it's a most worthy project, and he's from New York, baby. Anyway. So we're talking about the Wounded Warrior Project and how wonderful it is. And, I've talked to soldiers that have come back. I worked with the mayor's office here, and we have an office for soldiers that are coming back because we do care. A number of times there's the post-traumatic stress disorders, the housing problem. Sometimes the couples don't quite make it, and it is a tragedy. So why don't we play this song, Welcome Home? Let's hear.
I watched a young soldier take his seat on the plane. And the guy by the window said, "Son, what's your name?" He said, "Hi, I'm Jimmy, just back from overseas. When these boots touch down in Texas, I'm gonna drop to my knees. 'Cause I ain't seen my wife in 18 months and 14 days." The man smiled at him and said, "Well, let me be the first to say, welcome home. Welcome home. It's good to have you back where you belong. You fought hard for this land you love, and I thank you for all of us. We're proud to call you one of our own. Welcome home. Then the man looked away and said, I know how you must feel. I spent 2 long years in Vietnam. When I got back to Jacksonville, there were protest signs and picket lines, and some girls spit in my face. Hey, I was just a kid trying to make this world a safer place. Then his voice started trembling, and in his eyes I saw a tear. He said I didn't need a hero's welcome, but it's sure been nice to hear. Welcome home. Welcome home. It's good to have you back where you belong. You fought hard for this land you love, and I thank you for all of us. We're proud to call you one of our own. Welcome home. Well, the band was playing and the crowd was cheering as we came walking through that gate. Then the soldier stopped and turned to the man standing near him, saluted him and said, Sir, I know it's a little late, but welcome home. Welcome home. It's good to have you back where you belong. You fought hard for this land you love, and I thank you for all of us. We're proud to call you one of our own. Yeah, we're so proud to call you one of our own.
Yes, Welcome Home's a soldier song. Every soldier has value, and we should acknowledge that in our local communities. You know, I was talking with some other people today. There's a name, his name is Gene Chip Tatum. He was a Vietnam Special Forces Air Combat Controller, a U.S. Army Special Operations pilot. He was flying classified missions during the U.S. invasion of Grenada, the Iran-Contra affair, and several other classified intelligent operations through 1992. He has recently contacted me over the weekend. I've been trying to procure him so I could interview him. That this is going to take some doing. I want to do it on Friday if that will work for him. Even if I had to do it on TalkShoe, the interview portion, and load it up to Spreaker, I may end up having to do that. He's a wonderful American. He has a unique story. And I think perhaps some people might come to listen to a continuation of this radiothon to raise more money for the Wounded Warrior Project. I've sent messages out and heard nothing back in response to all these wonderful hosts that are doing this well-deserved radiothon for the Wounded Warrior Projects. I really am astonished at their dedication. Some of them have been up for hours. Their passion for the veterans, for the soldiers returning, is jaw-dropping. But I think this might be a really good pull for people that do not normally come to these certain shows. Maybe we can get some more people in here and get some more donations. How wonderful it would be to reach 2,000. It can be done. It can be done with one credit card swipe. I mean, it can be done. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I had talked to a person in the resource center of the Wounded Warrior Project in Florida. I hadn't had a chance yet to get Ernie to talk to me, but he's looking for someone to do a podcast about the Wounded Warrior Project, possibly someone that would become more involved, that's with the military or has a strong connection to the military. They are looking for people to do podcasts to help the soldiers. You know, people that have advanced degrees in psychology. And John and I had talked for hours this past week, or this last week, I should say. He's a good guy, and he's got this English accent. And I mean, the type of people they have for the Wounded Warrior Project to raise monies and invent these different programs that are so helpful. They're amazing people. And they take care of their own very well. You know, not that they have offices on Fifth Avenue, but they have insurance. It's a well-vetted project to donate directly to. So let's hear a little bit more about the Wounded Warrior Project, and let's find out where your monies may be going to. Perhaps you might want to retweet this show or put it on your Facebook feed. All right. Thank you for listening. And here is a public service announcement from the Wounded Warrior Project.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to a civilian job. These extraordinary men and women bring more than just teamwork and inspiration to the workplace. They bring proven world-class job skills. And to ensure proper placement, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right job fit. Talented, skilled, and eager to get back to work, you have the opportunity to hire a seasoned veteran. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
And that was a public service announcement to get people in touch with the Wounded Warrior Project. They have phone numbers in many different regions. The regions cover a variety of different areas. For Oklahoma, the Dallas number covers Oklahoma. And like I said before, in Tulsa, we take very good care of our wounded warriors that come back. And the Wounded Warrior Project is part of that, and local projects. And I want to talk about that more in depth. You know, you may have a passion of fishing. I have a public service announcement that I'm going to play, and it's about paying it forward, about a man that had a fishing boat, and he wanted to take some of the wounded warriors that were in wheelchairs, to go fishing on the lake. I mean, what a wonderful experience for them. A well-deserved break, on their battle back home. So, a matter of fact, I'm talking about the battle back home. I could play the public service announcement for that. What it's like for a warrior to come back. The culture shock, the nightmares, the post-traumatic stress disorder, the problems with the body, injuries, things of that nature. So, I think this would be really good. And then we could talk about paying it forward. Maybe you're passionate about something else. Maybe not hunting, but I don't know. I mean, you can think of whatever it is that you're passionate about. I think all men identify with fishing and watching football and just getting down and giving back. And sometimes just giving them an opportunity to give back to the community is a healing process. So why don't we listen to The Battle Back Home? Again, I have permission from the Wounded Warrior Project for the purpose of raising monies to use their public service announcements. I specifically asked about the YouTube channel, the Wounded Warrior Project. They had given me permission to use their clips. Now, I tried to tell people, but I guess maybe they were a little bit too busy. So I hope my promos were helpful, that I did a few earlier to see if you guys wanted to use it on your shows, if you needed a break from talking so much. And I think these clips are so good. And wow. Just wow. Anyway, well, let's listen to the Wounded Warrior Project, The Battle Back Home. It is a public service announcement. You can find it on YouTube, or you can find it on the woundedwarriorproject.org.
It's unlike anything you've ever been through in your life, man. I was driving. This kid threw a grenade at us. It went right over our vehicle. My gunner just whipped around with this kid. It was 12 years old.
The shockwave went through my head, rattled up my brain, and left.
1 second you're fine, next second the whole thing's on fire. It was very easy to jump in a bottle and not have to think about the way I looked in the mirror.
To lose a friend is like losing a limb. Each one is a fresh wound. I didn't know what PTSD was. All I knew is I was having nightmares. And when I got released, my reintegration was go check in at the VA, man.
Danger is around you 360 degrees at all times. Your brain is programmed that way, and you can't unlearn that. My first coping mechanism was use drugs. Just numb it, don't feel anything.
I was angry. I'm trying to pull myself out of that right now.
This shouldn't have surprised anyone. This is 1% of young men and women that are raising their hand and say, take me, I'll go. And if we don't help them heal, we're going to lose another generation, and shame on us.
There really was nothing there, and we kept saying somebody's got to do something, and finally we just looked around and said, well, why shouldn't it be us?
You have to find what that passion is again once you come home. And once you find that, life can be good.
I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for our band. We are using music to open the door for veterans to talk. And now I know what I need to do, for the rest of my life.
I found MMA is my medicine. They couldn't break me, and they never understood why. Well, I lost a few really close friends overseas, and if I quit, I'm going to let them down.
It's a long process. I don't have patience, but I had the drive and desire.
I'm learning to face my fears head on, which is really hard for me to do. To trust and just let go and see what happens at the end.
And that was the Wounded Warrior Project, the public services announcement known as the Battle Back Home. Excuse me, sorry to clear my throat. This is such a personal project to so many people. It is the right and good thing to help your fellow man and woman out. So, goodness. Pretty excited about asking Chip to get interviewed. Well, I mean, he's an amazing person, and his knowledge of the military and I guess what you would call the undercover secrets is legendary. He's only done 2 other interviews since, he did one in 2008 or 9. And then he did one not too long ago, about the Ukraine. You know, he's known, excuse me, he's a columnist for the VT, Veterans Today, Military and Foreign Affairs Journal. So I was listening to some of the stories that he had done, and you know what the true knowledge is about the Iran-Contra affair. It's mind-blowing. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to talk about when it comes to him. He was a CIA operative agent, if you will, with them for 25 years. And he was part of the Pegasus team, which was a hit team. He was paid by our government to kill people. You know, it makes you wonder what that can do to a person. But this Gene Tatum, Chip Tatum, he goes by Gene or Chip, Gene, and then Tatum, Tatum. It's fascinating, just absolutely fascinating. And I'm honored that I'll get to talk to him tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get that interview set up, and a lot of people will come to that to listen, and hopefully continue giving to Shaving the Stash, since they're talking about doing the shaving this upcoming weekend. Some people do not get paid till the first Friday of the month, so I think that would be a really good day to do a reprieve, you know, a reprisal of giving to the J. Sands Project, Shaving the Stash. I remember when we decided to do this giving, we were talking about what could bring us together on Spreaker. And this includes you. This includes you. It includes everybody. You know, whether you get along with someone or you don't, it's a worthwhile cause to give to. That, I think, is just bar none the best thing to do is to give. You're never too poor to give, even if it's just $1.86. And on our Goofy Bones show, 187.6. Deuce. I said 187.6, didn't I? I meant the 186 point deuce. I knew that was wrong. I'm a bit tired. I've been writing a lot. I'm exhausted. But I can't imagine talking all day. Oh my goodness, that would have been most difficult. And I love this program. It's amazing. It's amazing what they've done. So why don't we go ahead and go to the Restore Warrior program within the Wounded Warriors Project. I think it's a good cause. Why don't we see what it's about, and then you'll know a little bit more about the Wounded Warrior Project.
The most important thing that vets can do is to seek help.
Everywhere I went, the things that I carried all the way back from Iraq were still with me. And it brought me to a place where I never in my entire life thought I was going to go.
It's not wrong to admit you have problems. That's the number one thing you have to do. You have to admit. You have to understand that you have an issue that needs to be solved. You have to see it before you can get help for it.
And you have to open yourself up to letting people help you, which is hard for us to do.
My life, for the better part of the past 25, 30 years, has been macho. Take no prisoners. But now to acknowledge weakness.
It's like we don't feel good enough to have our problems be helped because we're not supposed to be weak.
You're going to have to go through hell to have any kind of good result that's going to come from it.
There's no quick fix for whatever you're feeling. Time will be your healer.
Look up the materials on PTSD and look up the stuff on, how to cope with the stress and stuff, Research it on your own.
Make that phone call to a vet center or to a nonprofit foundation that's designed to help us.
Seek help. Don't wait until you're in a situation where there's no turning back.
We learn a lot of things in the Marine Corps and the Army and other services in our core training and our follow-on training that can be applied to life as a civilian or life as a recovering veteran. And we need to draw on those lessons we've learned, and you have to reach out to others who have been there and who can counsel you and provide you some strength in a time when you need it.
Whether it be a counselor or a friend or a fellow veteran, whoever it is, talk to somebody.
Just reach out is the best advice I can give them. That's where I failed in my mission. When I first came home, I didn't reach out. And that was my worst mistake I ever made. I gave up 2.5 years of my life because I didn't make the first step to reach out.
I would absolutely recommend talking to anybody.
And believe me, people want to listen to their stories. Even listening to their stories helps me get over my own story. So they might help someone and not even know it.
There are days where I'm ashamed of it, and then there are days where I just don't care. Those are the good days, in that I'm acknowledging it. And by acknowledging it, I know I need help.
All our top leadership has recognized and stated time and time again, there is no stigma to PTSD. There is no stigma to TBI. This is a reality, and we want to deal with this to make you a stronger Marine, soldier, airman, or sailor. I think the Marine or sailor, whoever it is at the bottom, has to accept the fact that, you know what, yes, I have PTSD, but so do 20% of returning service members from Iraq. It's not just me, it's a whole bunch of people. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You've been in a very stressful environment that most people don't have to deal with.
Acknowledge there may be a problem. Acknowledge the fact that you may have to get help. Everybody has a different issue.
Even people who haven't been to war and haven't been through this suffer from PTSD from something. It's not just because we're veterans. It's not just because we've gone to war. Yes, that's a big key factor, but there's other people out there. It may not give you all your answers, and it may not relieve everything, but it helps.
And so I would tell that veteran struggling with whether or not he should seek counseling is, why the heck wouldn't you? What do you have to lose? You should go talk to someone, and then you decide, was this a waste of time, or am I getting something out of it? And, at least give it a shot.
My name is Nancy. I was in the United States Marine Corps. My rank of service was E3, Lance Corporal, and my job in the military was an 0431, which is embarkation logistics. When we first got to Iraq, we got to Kuwait, was our first station, and it was basically like, what a shithole. The day that I got hurt, I was lying to my family the whole time I was in Iraq through emails, or the one time I used the phone about that I was in a green zone, and there was no action, we were safe. I was at a fuel farm, fueling a Deuce and a Half, which is a truck that I drove out in Iraq. I just remember hearing a whistle and then blackness. I woke up, and I was kind of in a daze, a little confused. I looked at my partner, and he had this look of horror on his face. And then my body kind of went into shock. I was like, okay, why is he looking at me like that? Am I missing a limb? Do I not feel it? There wasn't a feeling. I didn't know what to feel. And then when I went like this, I saw blood on my hands, and I can't say that I freaked out because I didn't cry. I was just all right. I was are we okay? I was nervous because I didn't know what was going on. I think I was in a daze. And then, not to mention, it was so much smoke because it hit our fuel farm. So all this diesel fuel was burning in black smoke for hours and miles. I mean, these were big, huge diesel fuel bladders of I think it was 50,000 gallons of diesel fuel that day. I mean, they got lucky that day. and it burned for hours, and it was so black and so hot. And I remember I went into mode, is everything okay? You okay? I'm okay. I'm not really missing a limb, so let's get the hell out of here. We did. I got cleaned up. At the time, I was proud of myself because I stood up, I got bandaged up, and I didn't go to Kuwait or Walter Reed or anything. I went straight back into the game. I didn't stop to take care of myself or stop to think about maybe how bad or damage I did to the right side of my body. I smacked up my head pretty bad and got some scrapes on my hands through shrapnel. I got patched up at the hospital, but ultimately ended up losing my right eye over it. I knew I was at war, and we had been mortared tens of times before that, so it wasn't a surprise to me. But now I was thinking, how am I supposed to go home and tell my family that this happened to me? I didn't want to be a civilian. I didn't have much of a choice in the matter, but I didn't want to be a civilian. I was pissed off. I felt that, not my unit, but I felt like my corps turned their backs on me. I was nothing now. You know, I'll tell you, I never put the uniform on after that day. After I signed those papers. I still don't think that I'd ever wear my uniform again. I didn't even want to tell people I was a Marine anymore because I was just so ashamed that they didn't want me. It was kind of hard. So I was really mad when I got separated. I didn't want to be a civilian.
My name is William, United States Air Force, retired, Master Sergeant. I was a security forces member for the Air National Guard. The thing that drew me to the military was the structure, camaraderie, being in a structured environment. It also provided me safety from the streets where I grew up. My first memory of Iraq, it was the landing. When we actually landed, it was all about business. It was like, okay, we're here. It's time to go to work. It's time to put into action the training that we've had leading up to deploying to Iraq. My job in Iraq was intelligence. I was part of a security forces unit for the Air National Guard that took over security at Baghdad International Airport. There was such an influx of weapons in and out of Iraq that we were trying to get a handle on some of it. I had two superiors with me who were part of my unit. And they were kind of leading this mission for the Air Force, building up to the deployment to Iraq. All I kept hearing these two saying were how high speed they were, how they were civilian law enforcement, and the things that they've done in their civilian jobs and their careers and all. So, I mean, this is all I'm hearing in my ear, just hearing this constantly. So, okay, you're kind of painting a picture now. I don't really know them that well. So you're painting a picture that if it gets thick, you'll be able to handle yourself. Well, we were assigned this one building. We were doing a search one afternoon, and we had a canine handler with us, Air Force canine handler, with his dog. So as we were doing a search, we were in a building, and there was an explosion. The dog died. I saw this canine handler thrown about 20 feet in the air. When I regained my senses, I see the canine handler laying on the ground. His body was actually smoking. So myself and another member from my unit were able to drag him out of the building. Medics got to him, got him back up on his feet. A few days later, I find out that these two individuals, the two supervisors I'm speaking of, when it happened, they didn't come in to get us. They actually walked away from us, left us in the building. So now, having heard in my ear, just keep replaying it, I'm this, I'm that, I can do this, I'm high speed, and, I do this in my civilian job, but when you left us, now, you just don't do that. It's like a cardinal sin to leave a man behind, but they left us behind. So does it haunt me? Yeah. Have I gotten over it? No.
And that was part of the Restore Warrior Project within the Wounded Warrior Project. Again, you can contact them through your local area, region. A region will cover a number of different areas, and they have many different programs. Maybe you might know someone that could benefit from them. They have programs for the children, for the caregivers, because it's not easy when you have a wounded warrior that comes back. That battle back home sometimes has to be fought by 2, 5 people, 12 people, to get the wounded warrior to be whole again, to be able to walk upright, to be able to have pride, to be independent again. It takes a big team. So if you want to be part of that team, contact your Wounded Warrior Project, the local one. See if you can take someone out on the lake and, take them fishing. Help them feel normal again, whatever normal is for them. And of course, donating to the Wounded Warrior Project. If you look at the details in my show for the Night Talks, the J Sands Network, they are raising money to shave his mustache. And they've achieved that goal. And they've achieved the goal of $1,000 to get Goofy Bone to shave his hair off, to become bald, basically. I think that's pretty cool. And they have yet another goal to achieve, which is $1,400. And I guess someone else has to go in drag. That is so awesome. There's someone in the chat room that has to go into Walmart dressed in drag because they hit 1,000 on Pumpkin Show. It's a number of show hosts on Spreaker that are bonding together to raise money for a positive cause. Instead of all the negative drama, this is something positive that everybody can support. And what better project than the Wounded Warrior Project to raise money for? It is vetted. It is good. It's pay it forward all over. Little children do projects to raise money for the Wounded Warrior Project. It's wonderful. I love it. I like the idea of taking a wounded warrior out to the lake and go fishing. Just the simple things in life. Whatever it is that their passion is. Maybe your passion is photography. Maybe they would like to become a photographer. And you happen to be really good at it. Why not share that talent? Why not share that talent? They've seen so much of the war. They've seen so much of the world. Why not teach? Or help them learn to read again. Or better yet, if they're blinded, to read a book and put it on an audio program where they can listen. And there's so many different ways you can help give to help pay it forward to the Wounded Warrior Project. So many different ways. That is so cool. As someone's talking about how many platforms they're on. And maybe we'll break 1,000. Now, I am hoping on Friday, if I have my fingers crossed, I'll have to do the interview portion probably on TalkShoe, but to interview Gene Chip Tatum. He's an amazing person. He's a former CIA operative. He was a Vietnam Special Force Air Combat Controller, a U.S. Army Special Operations pilot. He flies a lot of classified missions during the U.S. invasion of Grenada, the Iran-Contra affair. I mean, this man has stories, and he has stories of courage. Stories of courage and survival, and it's amazing. You know, I see his Facebook, his Twitter. I'm friends with him on Twitter, and he sent his personal contact information, and I'm so excited to call it. So hopefully on TalkShoe I'll have that interview there. Then I can upload it to Spreaker, the interview, and maybe we can raise some more money on Friday, because I think a lot of people, or there's a number of people that get paid the first Friday of the month. You know, that's when they get paid, the first Friday. And some people get paid on the 5th, and so they'll be paid on the 4th, which is this Friday. And everybody shaving the stash or the hair or the hair down under, we won't talk about that. That's a little bit embarrassing to me, but wow, she's gutsy. That Sherry, she's really gutsy. I admire her. Good people, really good people. Oh, goodness. I've been getting these dizzy spells. I'm going to have to play a song. Or why don't we talk about Aiden? And this is a Wounded Warrior Project program. It's a person like you and me just making a difference. Just making a difference. And this is one of the award, he was an award winner. Like, he got an award for doing what he had done for the Wounded Warrior Project. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. And we can talk more about what's going to happen this Friday.
I'm the first person from my immediate family to join the military.
Well, you can definitely tell he's very motivated, he's very dedicated. I think he's an all-around good cadet.
It's a good feeling knowing that we're training him to be a future leader in the military. And he's already got those good qualities that everyone looks for in an officer.
Really, this started as a civics project back in intermediate school.
We were all assigned to do a service project that in some way benefited the community. And I had read in a CNN article about an artist who had gone to a building and decided to paint a very simple mural. And it was just a tally. On one side, it was the number of combat deaths in Iraq, and on the other side, it was the number of suicides in the same amount of time, and the number of suicides were greater than the number of combat deaths in Iraq.
It just connected with Aiden. It just did. He wanted to be wearing the Wounded Warrior t-shirts.
I tried to go around and I said, look, this is what we have to improve as a community so that the people from our armory, our National Guard in our town, when they come home, they feel more at home and they don't face some of the issues that some of the other people that are coming home are facing.
He went to the government, the state and the local, and he found out who was and who wasn't really interested in it, who was or wasn't willing to stick their neck out.
Following year, I participated in something called the New Jersey Youth in Government Program, and that's a program where students from all over the state of New Jersey convene, and we get to write bills on topics that we care about, and we try and make a difference. So I wrote mine on the issue of military suicides, and I wanted to raise, I wasn't sure if it was going to pass or not, because there's no surefire way, obviously, to combat military suicides, and everybody would want to go about it a different way. But my mission was just to let people know about the issue. Even if people voted down my bill, it was going to be another 40, another 50, another 100 people who knew this is a problem, we have to do something about it.
He could have chosen any topic, any cause to present, but he chose this one.
He latched on to this, researched it, put things together, contacted state legislators, contacted federal legislators.
When I was writing these proposals for change, I was trying to write them on behalf of the Wounded Warrior Project and veterans who need help and veterans who are trying to seek help.
I think Aiden is focusing on the government, but he's also focusing on his generation, create the groundswell, demand that our soldiers get this help.
We have to work on, as a society, encouraging people to understand that people with mental health issues, especially veterans and soldiers, there's nothing wrong with them. It's not a disorder, even though the D is in PTSD. It's something that our bodies do to react to stress, no matter how well you can react to stress.
And we should be supporting these men and women in every way possible.
This is something that we have to deal with because these are the strongest people in our country that are suffering from these issues. And if we can't give them the help that they deserve and the help that they need, then we're not losing somebody who can't handle a stressful situation. We're helping people who can best handle our country and best lead our country when we need them the most.
And that was the Aiden story. Amazing, isn't it? It's simply amazing. You know, this means such a great deal to me. My family's in this. I have a deep love of my country. I come from a true patriot family. On my father's side, our family had settled in Virginia in the 1600s. It's debatable if they came over the late 1500s or early 600s. I can tell you that the wills start in the mid 1600s, and there's some children that died before then. It was so interesting to read all these different wills. I found out that we had the land catty-cornered from Plantation Tuckahoe, and that I think it was Patrick Jefferson, had surveyed our lands. He had a son named Thomas Jefferson. And my family, my father's family, they had Dolly Madison in their family. Just makes me think of what was discussed over that dining room table. And in our family, there's always somebody that plays the violin on that side. You know, and of course, Thomas Jefferson, he played the violin. And there's a little schoolhouse. I have a picture of it on my Angela's Homeschool cover page. You know, we've been homeschooling for centuries off and on. And it's just amazing to me. The history of courage in our country. The courage in the men and women of the armed forces. Of the military, the Navy, Coast Guard, the Air Force, Marines. Yay for the Marines. We've always been involved with the Marines. Army. We've had officers in our family. We've had oh my gosh, he's a good man to do the right job. And that's protecting our freedom. So, and should he come stateside, I want him to have all the help he needs. Should he have to come home and it's not a choice, I want him to have the help he needs. Don't you? Think about your neighbors, your family members. Maybe you know someone that's a Vietnam vet. They can get help through the Wounded Warrior Project. They don't discriminate, not just because it's not from a recent, what do they call those things now? They don't call them wars anymore. Interventions, and I don't know. My family is a strong gun proponent family. I'm from an outlaw family, a patriot family. It's such a good thing to find out where you're from. Because when we find out who we are as a nation, we are going to become stronger. We will become stronger when we realize that the right thing to do is ask for help if you need it, and accept help when it's offered. That's a hard thing for a man to do, to accept help. It takes a stronger man to ask for help, though. So if you're out there and you're struggling, and you're a vet, please contact the Wounded Warrior Project. You know, they have a suicide hotline. I do know that. You know, I think it's time to play this other clip. They call it Vincent, and it's another one where they pay it forward. Start thinking outside your wallet. Think about what you can do for the Wounded Warrior Project, or maybe your local VFW. Maybe you want to do something local and you don't want to be affiliated with the Wounded Warrior Project. I understand. And bless your heart for having such kindness and compassion within it. You're doing a good thing. So let's listen to this, and we'll continue the discussion afterward. Oh my gosh. Was it Vincent that I just played, or Aiden? I'll have to listen to it again. I am a wee bit tired.
What got me started with Wounded Warrior Project was when my youngest brother, he went into the United States Marine Corps, and when a few of his buddies got injured, it kind of made me realize how many injured servicemen and women we have. I decided it would be cool for these guys who were on the road to recovery to try to get them out fishing.
Started with him just taking out warriors, and he got his boss, which just happens to be Jimmy Buffett, involved. Got her looking pretty. Looking good there, Vinny.
You know, I mentioned it to Jimmy that, you know, this is what I offered the guys from Wounded Warrior Project. He said, you know, why don't you take my boat? Take my boat. You know, you're welcome to take it. I would give you guys be more comfortable. There's more seating. It's a bigger boat. And then after we did our first trip and we had such a phenomenal day, I know he was proud of it all. We were all proud. I remember when we first caught the first yellowfin, and I turned around and looked at Tyler and I said, you believe in God or what? It was really cool. I made some really great friendships through all this, guys like Mike Delancey. He's one of the most inspirational guys I've had on the boat, without a doubt.
I ended up going out with him, and the way that he just treated me and my dad and my sister at the time, she came with us, just like family. As I was telling him, that fight, that first one, I was like, oh, I love the fight. I was trying to reel it in. I couldn't do it all by myself. You know, we just really kind of went from that to just blossom into a friendship.
We get a lot of guys who, they might have been fishing on a pond or a lake or a stream. They've never been on a boat. They've never been on, you know, out in the saltwater ocean, you know, deep water fishing. And that's really cool for me. So just see it on their faces the first time they see a sailfish, the first time they see, you know, anything, a big kingfish, a big mahi.
There's nothing more relaxing and calming than just to get out in the open water. You leave all your worries back at home. You deal with it when you get back, but you have that 3 or 4 or 5 hours out on the water. It's just really good, a very good therapeutic tool.
I think that's why I keep doing it. It makes me feel so good about life and what I can give back to these guys, and, you know, give these guys a little bit of reprieve, you know, for a day, 2 days, 4 hours, whatever I can with them on the boat.
As a caregiver for my son, I do a lot of lifting, transferring in and out of the boats, and I tell you, the day I went with Vinny, I sat there and just watched. These guys took care of my son. They were just like, Mr. Delancey, you need to relax. This is your time off too. Me and my brothers have got this. And I tell you, I just sat back and it's all right here. It's never left me.
How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for having me on my boat. This is the first time I've been on your boat with you.
Yeah, I know. Well, everybody else has been on my boat without me.
When Jimmy gave me the go-ahead, the biggest thing was I said, well, if he's going to give me that go-ahead, I said, I'm going to make him proud of me. You know, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it big.
Come fishing with us tomorrow for Wood Talk.
Oh, definitely. We'll do.
All right, do that, yeah. Mi casa, su casa.
Thank you for sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Everything. And a lot of the other fishing boat captains that he was friends with just started volunteering their time in their boats, and now I think the last trip that he ran, he ended up having 12 boats out there full of warriors. He really goes out of his way. He'll call me when he can't run charters just to check up on me. You know, to me, that shows a very, very strong personal commitment that he really, I guess, truly cares.
And he, for this Carry Forward Award, is very, very deserving. Very.
I think I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm just going to keep getting it bigger and better and help these guys out in more ways than I am even now.
And there was the story about the fishing. It really touched my heart. Because I think all men, and I know for me, fishing, growing up, it was a wonderful pastime. We even would go to the hills of the Ozarks. And when there was these rocks you could stick your hand in, and if you did it just right, you could pull out a fish. Sometimes a good-sized one. I always seem to get the smaller ones, though. I had small hands. Still do. It's funny how that goes. But what a wonderful idea. You know, I want to really encourage people to think outside the wallet and do something more. If you're interested in podcasting and you're a veteran, I have a name and number of someone for you to contact if you want to get involved with the Wounded Warrior Project and just have other people on there to interview. And what a wonderful thing to do, to let other people know that they're not alone. Let's say maybe someone has come back stateside and you've already been through that experience. You know, they are highly interested in Spreaker and Blog Talk Radio, or even, you know, getting a server of their own and doing their own thing. How good that would be to have a line for them to call in. But then they suddenly feel like they're part of a community. If the person is isolated that's calling in, what a wonderful thing for them. Is there anyone out there that's listening to me that might be interested in it? Please contact me, and I'll get you in contact with the right people, and let's get this thing moving. So I'm trying to convince the guy at the resource center to do it, but he seems a bit shy, so we'll see. Have a song to play. We've been playing all these heavy clips. This is a Veterans Day montage. Why don't we give a listen to it and just relax and think of what we can do outside of the wallet.
All we've been given by those who came before, the dream of a nation where freedom would endure, the working prayers of centuries have brought us to this day. What shall be our legacy? What will our children say? Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I received. Let me know America, America, with the gifts that they were given, were determined to leave more battles fought together, acts of conscience fought alone. These are the seeds from which America has grown. Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings that I received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. For those who think they have nothing to share, who feel in their hearts there is no hero there, know each quiet act of dignity is that which fortifies the soul of a nation. Say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. America, I gave my best to you.
And that was Nora Jones with her Veterans Day montage. She's a true American. She's awesome. She's good. Good people. So I just tweeted the show because I realized I forgot to tweet the show. But my main goal is on Friday to go ahead and do a show where I can raise some serious money. We'll see. Might do it Thursday night. I'm thinking Friday night a lot of people are busy. I'll have to contact some people privately and see what they'll do. Maybe we can double that 1,000. You never know. You never know. And I think that would be a tribute to the Wounded Warrior Project and all that they do. So have you given today? Have you given tonight? Have you given this morning for whenever you listen to this podcast? If you do, please do so. Look at my show description. If we take a look at it, let me find it again. Speedy Readers, no. That's not it. Goofy Bone, no. There it is. E-Stash. Well, where did it go to? I thought I had it. One moment. Ernie Abbott has made setting up the page so quickly. We decided on, let's say, I think it was a Monday or a Sunday, and within 2 days, he had this donation page all ready. Now it's ready to set up. Excuse me. Maybe I'll add $18.62 tonight. I think I can do that. I can do that for our men and women. I think that would be a good thing to do. Yes, Ernie Abbott, I see he's raised $100. Jersey Bees is $100. I don't know if these people want to be known. Rick from the Weekend Edition, a whopping $250. Thank you, Rick. Danny Boy at $102. Alan, I'm just going to name off. Barco, $69.69. Stabby McHugs, $9.95. There's numerous donations of $1.86, which I think's well and good. That's in honor of Goofy Bones Show. Staff members, Mekazawa, fans such as Jacqueline and Kelly and Little Larry and Dirty Ron, all fans of 186 Point Deuce. Chewy Baca, $10. Boomshine Radio, Bet Bupper. Amanda, thank you. Southern Cowboy. The John Bivens Show. The Senator John. Yeah, Senator John gave $21. Angela Truth. Andy Bong. The great Jay Sands. The wonderful Ernie Abbott's CD. And it looks like, I don't know who started this off, but kudos to all of you for pitching in there and making the goal so high. It's wonderful that you've done so. Yeah, I'm doing just fine. Ernie's good people. Ernie is great people. So why don't we go to Shane? They did a documentary on him, and this is after he's gone through some of the programs through the Wounded Warrior Project. I think it's good that you get to know what your monies are doing. If you haven't so yet, if you look at my show description, you'll find a link to a page on the Wounded Warrior Project where you can donate monies to the Wounded Warrior Project. It's a vetted project. The monies do not go anywhere else. So here's Shane after the documentary.
Hi guys, I'm Shane Crutchin. Hopefully you just watched my story on MSNBC as part of the documentary series Wounded. If not, please go to WWP10.org and view it there. Since the filming happened, my beautiful baby girl was born on October 5th, and myself and my wife were very blessed with a healthy little baby Balin. Couldn't ask for less sleep, but it was well worth it, and every day is a joyful day staring in her face and seeing her smile. I just want to say that people that deal with PTSD and addiction of any sort, getting connected to other warriors was my main goal by telling my story. If my worst day can be another warrior's success story, then any suffering I ever went through was well worth it. If you're a warrior or know another warrior that needs help of any kind, please don't be scared. Don't think you're weak. Reach out to the Wounded Warrior Project. There will always be somebody there to listen and help you get the help you need. Other than that, I've been very blessed and going on 11 wins. Huge fight announcement coming up. So if you follow me on social media, you'll see me there. One day at a time, and keep pushing. I'm Shane Crutchin. This is my story. Please tell us yours.
I think that's a wonderful promo. Shane's a boxer. He's like a cage fight boxer. He has the names of the fallen of his unit on his back. He's an amazing person, and there was a documentary featuring him. If you go to the Wounded Warrior Project, you can see the link there and go to it directly. It was not on the YouTube channel, so I chose not to load it up. Here's the Markham family. They're amazing. They do believe in heroes, and they are from the Wounded Warrior Project. Let's find out about them a little bit more as we take I need a break. There.
Tom and I are both from Central Florida. We actually went to elementary school together. We got married in October 93, and he joined the Air Force January 96. He deployed again to Iraq in 2008. There was a point where we went about 10 days without hearing from him. He called me finally. I asked him, like, well, what's going on? And he told me that he had been hit by a mortar that had been lobbed over the fence. The bone in his face was actually broken by the sound waves of the blast. And they didn't know it until they did an MRI when he came home. And that's kind of where we started and learned that he had suffered a TBI. I've known him since we were kids, and we've been married a long time, and I knew that something was wrong with him. He was not the same person he was when he left.
When our dad first came back, it was a little weird. At one point in time, he could be your loving father that you've known since you were born, and the next second, he could be someone who is totally irritated or angry at something.
The biggest thing that's changed with Tom is our relationship, as husband and wife. Sometimes I feel like I'm more mommy than wife. He has a lot of needs that he can't do for himself.
And she has to take care of 3 boys now instead of just me and my brother. She has to take care of me, my brother, and my father.
He'll say, you have to realize that the man you were married to died in Iraq. And this is what you have, so you need to accept it. And so that's what I did.
So when the Wounded Warrior Project came to us and said we have something for the caregivers, it was a huge relief.
I got to go on a caregiver retreat to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. When I got there, I was absolutely exhausted. The last 2 years had been an emotional roller coaster. For the first time, I really realized that I wasn't the only one going through this.
Since the caregiver retreat, I think she has done an excellent job of taking care of everybody.
That was the turning point for me, to get my head back in the game.
And the Wounded Warrior Project did that for her. I'm not sure if my wife would still be here with me and ready to fight with me if it wasn't for that specific thing.
Before he was injured, he was sanctuary to me. Seeing him go through constant surgeries and the pain he was in, he is my hero. He always has been.
I love her. I love her with all my heart. I don't know how she does it. And she is more than my hero. More than my hero.
We don't think about that much till we send them off to war. That's when we get behind them and show them our support. But we sometimes take for granted that they'll always be around. Each one of them a hero for defending this sacred ground. They keep us safe and they keep us free. They make this country proud. From one American to another, it's time they heard these words out loud. Thank you for the job you do so well. You risk it all in freedom's name and sometimes go through hell. Thank you for the sacrifices made, for the ones who never came back home. The highest price was paid. It's about time we show some gratitude. Let me be the first in line to say thank you. For the job you do so well. ones who never came back home. The highest price was paid. It's about time to show some gratitude. Let me be the first in line to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And wow, thank you. Thank you for all your years of service, your years of loyalty. And it's time for you to be taken care of now. And thank you. I mean, what else can we say? What else can we say? I want to talk about a program that I'm going to do a little bit later this week, hopefully Thursday or Friday. And, wow. That was signed by George Bush. I didn't know about this. There's the Tatum Chronicles, the man that I want so much to interview. They were scanned and edited for electronic distribution by Alan Comstock Graphics. I guess I'll find out if I can use it. I find out in a couple hours. I'm very excited. Very excited. Oh, this is part of the book he wants to do. Wow. He started government service in 1970 as a volunteer for the military service during the Vietnam War. I'm not going to tell everything. It's just wow. There's a French resistance song that he liked to use. The lyric goes, "When you fall, my friend, another friend will emerge from the shadows to take your place." And it's true. But everybody comes back. Everybody comes back, one way or another. And for the ones that are wounded, they need our help right now. They need our help. I'm just reading ahead. I'm very excited. So excited. I think I will end my podcast for now. Now I'll come back on a little bit later. I have to run to the store, so it's a good day. It's a good day to give. It's a good day to care. It's a good day to call your neighbor and do something for someone else without them asking. Do an act of kindness. Let this Wounded Warrior project affect you in a way that you never have been before. Do something outside the wallet. Kindness and compassion, courage, resilience. These are good character traits. I think these are character traits that our soldiers embody. I can't tell you how excited I am for the Wounded Warrior Project. And I will be doing another show this Friday. I'm so sorry to yawn. But ladies, I appreciate everybody that's listening to the podcast. And for all those wonderful people that have added to the tally. Let's see if we can reach 2,000 by Friday. That would be awesome. And it is possible. This is possible. I'm very hopeful, very optimistic, and I hope that is infectious. I hope what I've said tonight about thinking outside the wallet affects you. And of course, all donations are more than welcome to the Wounded Warrior Project. If you click on the link in the show description, you will come upon a fundraising page that's part of the Wounded Warrior Project. It's part of the site. So the monies do not go to anyone else. They go directly to the Wounded Warrior Project. And the clips that I played within this podcast, I had permission to use them in order to raise monies for the Wounded Warrior Project. I am not making anything by doing this podcast. So I thank you. And let's think outside the wallet, but let's use that wallet first. Thank you and good night.